the German fragging machine that is Tabson. We've got to say, he is one of the most skilled players arguably at this event. He's up there with some of the big names here.
Absolutely, and again, going back to the whole storyline of this team, we saw him in the minor, and actually saw him a few times before the minor, but leading into the minor, we knew his stats were really high. We knew against Tier 2 teams he was fragging, he was completely capable. We weren't sure what he was going to do against Tier 1. And the first 2 games of the qualifier, I have to say, Nex actually outperformed Tabson. Not that he dropped off, not that he was that far away, but he didn't have that same superstar performance. He's got it back now, and I'm very impressed.
I have to say, I'm glad he brought up Nex as well. He's a player I've been calling out for a while, and I've been saying he used to be so good. It was such an exciting time when he joined Mouse Sports. He just looked unstoppable, especially on the T side, and maps like Dust 2. No one could out-aim him. But then, ever since he left that team, we just haven't heard from him. It's always been very quiet, but this event seems to be a resurgence for him, which is great. Fragging above Tabson is a very rare thing to happen in this big side.
If you look at Nex's history as well, all of his best performances were when Gobby was beside him or behind him to give him direction, and I think that's a big element of it. Look, Gobby said it straight up. This is a team he built. He wanted these players. There's a reason he has these players. They're tools to him, and he knows how to use them in certain situations. Lagia included. He's been a sidekick of Gobby's for, what, 3-4 years now, if not longer?
Yeah, that's what we heard from the coach on the stage as well, saying that everyone has their role within the Gobby system. It's very regimented. They know what game plan they're bringing to every single server, every single opponent as well. They have a new strategy, and that's one thing you have to love about Big. The way they can execute. It's really classic Counter-Strike. It's set pieces, it's getting map control, it's working as a unit, not just relying on your big names, and managing to take map control, push the CTs back, and we'll see some really interesting executes coming out. This map especially, if they go towards the A bomb site, they have these nuts wall of smokes approaches, and no one really does in the A site anymore. They'll do them in blocks off towards stable, they have build themselves a pathway towards the A site, and they can fake off that as well. They've also got a tunnel they can create towards connector. There's some really cool stuff, and I'm sure they're saving some tricks for these kind of games as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that is one thing Godby brings us. We saw smokes on this map, by the way, obviously in Cologne, in a map that Virtus Pro didn't actually win, that were quite creative. I wouldn't be surprised if Godby was either able to replicate those or have his own variation of similar smokes, you know, NIP A smokes or Virtus Pro B smokes, something along those lines as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that tactic will be coming out for some more teams. Why wouldn't he? And it's a shame that Virtus Pro had to deploy it and couldn't win the game. But yeah, players like got people watching that and thinking, I can use that within my system. Go big or go home. I like that a lot. We've been trying to crowbar that into our broadcasts recently. I haven't.
There's so many puns with their team name. Like, it's a brilliant name in that way because it's a word you just use so much.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's also like frustrating as a customer. It's a word we use generally, right? And it's like, okay, no pun intended. I think that's said about 5 times a day when they're involved and stuff. But still, it's a great story. Formed in January, Big have been working together, like grassroots organization, and managed to get themselves the main objective: get to the major first. They went through the full system, open qualifiers, minors, major qualifier. They got to the main event. People thought that was great. They got the stickers. They're going to be able to fund themselves now going forward. But then, here we are. They've made it to a playoffs, and they've taken names down like FaZe in the process as well. Like, that's insane. 3-0 at this sort of event.
For a team to come all the way from the minors as well, that's unprecedented. It's so impressive. We've seen qualifying teams before obviously take over legendary spots, but from the minor system, Big has really gone the distance. And they said they were building this team just to get into this major. They knew that they were a little bit early. You know, their inception was too near to the E-League major to really have a chance in that. And in fact, I think they may have even formed after that minor system. So this was it. This was all in for this major, and I'd say overachieved, perhaps. We'll find out. I mean, if they can continue this form, it's certainly...
It's so difficult to gauge, right? Everyone says that the Swiss system does benefit underdogs. You get to play maps you're very comfortable on, and you're not really testing anything else. But now, best of 3, unfortunately for Immortals, I think they made a bit of a blunder with this Vita. These are 2 maps that Big love to play. Obviously, they're concentrating on stuff they play as well, but it doesn't look like you're going to make Big at least be tested at this point. They know exactly what they're doing going into this one. I do feel like Big are the favourites, I have to say. A wireless mouse problem. One of the rare wireless mouse issues.
Yeah, I think the last time we had a wireless mouse issue was actually ECS Season 1 finals in London, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Automatic or Sick that was using it. I can't remember.
Automatic does use one, but I'm not sure if you had the issue. I don't think I was at that one. But
no, we were there.
Oh, yeah, the London one.
The first one, yes. Way back, I know. Sorry, I went very Thorin on you there with my memories.
It's fine. Yeah, you have to be careful with me. My memory is not what it used to be.
That's true. You're getting old quickly. But yeah, I mean, Cobblestone as well. Talk us through, I mean, certain aspects of the map. I mentioned Henny because I feel like the AWP has to be assertive to shut down Big and try and take down a player early on. Like you say, he may not be on form, but the CTs are going to have to be, specifically Immortals, very aggressive.
Yeah, it's more the T side I'm interested with Immortals. Like I said, I always use this buzzword like flamboyant with Immortals. They seem to just go very fast, stick together, wolfpack formations, go for fast map control, especially towards long A, and trying to get those frags. If they get early kills, they're fully committing. They're not falling back, they're not faking, they're just getting in there and locking things down with simple smokes, and that's something they're very good at. As the coach mentioned, Zach, of course, he was saying the team, they've been working on the emotional side of it. If they find themselves in the rut, they go down 0-6, it's very rare to see them bounce back. If they have a great start, they win the pistol, you can expect them to run over their opponents, but it's still an inconsistent team. Then very well to make it to quarterfinals, their first major, they've tried 4 times, but I wanted to get a bit deeper here. They've always been playing second fiddle to SK Gaming or Luminosity, and finally they're here and have a chance to go one step further than them.
Yeah, I was going to say, go one step further than SK, who many people would have predicted to win this event, met Astralis in the quarter, which just happened.
Yeah.
And bye-bye SK. Astralis have a good chance to go back-to-back now, perhaps, but, I mean, again, Immortals are going to take that as a feather in their cap and say, listen, we can be the best in Brazil, we've got to do it. We heard them say on stage, we heard Zach say it, you know, we've got to do this for our country now, we've got to get some pride in there still.
It's always nice to see that they do play with their hearts, and representing Brazil has always been a big deal for them, right? It's a massive Counter-Strike nation, historically, always had lots of pedigrees and huge names coming out of that region, and it's an honor, I think, for these guys to be here, representing at the major and doing it for Brazil.
Beautiful 360 stage.
It is nice, isn't it? It's great to be out here finally. Been watching all day, like waiting for our opportunity to get out here. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think, but hopefully we can blow the roof off the tower and venue as well. What do you think about this place? It seems pretty nice, right? You see the LED on the outside of the building?
Beautiful. Yeah, it's actually
amazing.
really, really cool. I think I think probably about now it's going to look its best as the sun's going down. Yeah, so this would be a cool spectacle from that perspective for sure. I am impressed. I'm glad to be back as well in the arena. It's been a while since we've been able to be out here with the fans, be able to interact at most events. Yeah, it's really good.
It's reminding me of the likes of like Columbus, perhaps, a couple of majors ago, being out there in the thick of it, getting caught up in the excitement as well, and it's kind of playing off the energy of the crowd. It's going to be a lot of fun here, especially when Virtus Pro come on the stage tomorrow. That's going to be nuts. That's going to be absolutely bananas. I can't wait for that.
I'm super thrilled they made it into this event. We didn't have that, I guess, honor, the privilege in Katowice this year, obviously.
Didn't make it through. That was a little bit shocking for them. It's been a bumpy ride, but it's always been said, Matthew, they deliver at majors. They're obviously in the grand final of the last one, looking to replicate that form here as well. Still within a shadow doing so. It's looking pretty decent for them in terms of the bounce back. If you looked at Cologne, 0-3 there in a similar format, obviously the same. It was the Swiss system. They went 0-3 and it's completely dropped out, but they did show signs of promise, like we described. There was obviously work being done on the strategy side of the game, and we're seeing them have close matches, but couldn't quite get over the finish line. Now they're in the quarterfinals again, looking to get to that grand final once more.
And the rematch as well from the last major.
That could be so good.
It's definitely a possibility. They have had it once already in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I mean, like you say, Virtus Pro, they've been trying to get back to majors, finals in general. Las Vegas obviously went well. That was another epic event. That was back when it looked like we were going to have a strong, solid 4 to 5 horse race, and then it's been inconsistency that's plagued most teams.
Sure.
Maybe Astralis have something in it now, because I wasn't sure what to expect from them, obviously, coming in.
Well, I'm getting information that the wireless mouse has been connected. It's been charged. It's ready to go. So
I hope it gets batteries.
Can you imagine this beginning to charge a wireless mouse? Interesting. I'd always be so scared as a pro player to even think. I just in my head I'd be thinking it's got to be delayed. It can't be 100% accurate. But from what I've heard, they're very, very good now.
Well, he is testing it right now, so.
There it is.
The new ones are way better. I remember my brother had a wireless mouse, our first wireless mouse, and I hated it. I couldn't touch it. I didn't want anything to do with it. Throw it in the bin.
I guess when I was playing, it was for like 2008, and I don't think the technology was really there at that point to even trust that. I think there's a few on the market that are designed for gaming, but it's cool they're being used, and it looks like the gear will be the player testing it out, as you said, and will be underway momentarily. I can see the votes coming in, so they are getting ready to play at this point. This is the best of 3. We start on Cobblestone and move on to Inferno, where Big, that'll be their 4th showing at this tournament on that map, and they'll have a chance to show us how good they can be on that T side once again. In terms of the Cobble start, though, it's going to be Immortals on the CT side, and Big kicking things off in the Terrorist. And I'm interested to see what they bring to the table. Of course, one player that really stands out for me on the Immortals side, it has to be Bolts. Like, he's looked fantastic. And ever since his journey, that's what I love the minors and the major qualifiers. You actually see how teams develop as those tournaments go on. So we see them at a minor, and then they come back like 2 weeks later and play the major qualifying, see what they've worked on, and seeing what weaknesses they had at that previous event, and they look better and better. Same story goes for Immortals. Now that the major probably looking their best. We've seen them in quite a long time. And you have to remember, KNG only joined, what, a few months ago. Like, this is still quite a fresh change for them. Losing FNX, their best player.
Well, exactly that. Coming back, FNX is the only player in the history of the CSGO majors to have 100% win rate at majors. Obviously, he left crazy. SK just before E-League. They played with Fox, as a matter of fact. And for those of you who don't remember, had a semi-final berth with him on board. But then, yeah, KNG replacing FNX in this lineup. I didn't know what to expect. And again, I mentioned it with Big, unprecedented to go through the minor system. They did the same thing on their side. So very, very cool. And fast development to bring KNG into it. Like you said, he's known for AWPing in the past, and now he's sort of second fiddle to Henny, and he's still fitting in and making it work. Bolts definitely has a system he's been running. Yeah. And he's another player that came out from the leadership of Fallen when they made the two-men replacement, including FNX in that transfer, interestingly enough. So it was FNX and Taco replaced Steel and Bolts at the time.
Bolts in game leading as well, and high fragging. There's no issues there. He's not a player that's been stifled whatsoever by having the captaincy role. He's looked very, very good. Potentially their best player, I would say, generally in the last few months. He's looked fantastic. Obviously, he used to play in the Luminosity/SK lineup as well, and now moved down to, I guess, arguably a lesser team. They're still in the tournament, of course, but they're doing great stuff with Immortals, and hopefully we can see them maybe get a little further here. We'll see what happens. I'm very interested. I'm a big fan of both of these teams, I have to say. Big, just for me, like the coolest school of Counter-Strike I come from is about these tactics. It's about this map control, slow-paced gameplay, and having a strategic approach to every situation. Immortals, the exact opposite. It's more CSGO style, right? That's like this kind of fanatic at their very best. It's a very similar approach in terms of sticking as a unit, hitting fast, hitting shots, and we'll see whether they can step up here today. I do feel like, though, Big... I've got my money on them if I had to. If you had to ask me, that's where I'm going with it. And so I can see no headsets are on mount. Maybe we do have
He is still running around the spawn, swinging his mouse back and forth as quickly as possible. So I don't know if he's trying to feel at 100% that there is no delay.
Great advert for the mice, of course.
Of course, of course. We didn't mention brands. We're safe.
Yeah. But looks like headsets are off. There's a couple of admins in there. The walkie-talkies are out, trying to work out what the problem is. Might be a PC change or something, we're not sure. But we'll have a look.
Tabson as well, by the way, is on wireless, so.
Oh, really?
They'll be able to compare.
Giving it a go. Well, Tabson, like we said, in terms of skill, he's up there as one of the very best. Like, you probably wouldn't want to mention his name in the same breath as like Fallen, Nico, Device. But in terms of raw skill, I'm telling you, he's going to get there eventually. Like, he's coming, and he's coming from tier 2, like just like. Hasn't played at this level for a while, and now looking better than ever, like the highest fragger on the big team. I feel like he's going to be something very special as he develops as a player himself, and as he gets more experience at these bigger events with this lineup. Like, he just seems to be top fragger. I used to say to him, oh, if it's one of those games that Tabson turns up, they've got a real chance of winning. He turns up every game, man. He doesn't ever drop off. Every single game he's there. And just when they need him as well, like when they're up against the ropes trying to close a game out, if you remember the major qualifier, he just runs an upper B platform on this map, sprays 4 people down, and just gets the job done, like just when they need him.
It's Olaf-esque.
Yeah.
There's strategies on this map used to be like, let's call a timeout. Okay, what can we do better? Olaf, just go kill people. Yeah. Walk out B platform and get 2 or 3 kills on entry, and that was how they'd win a much needed round.
Those interviews when they actually said, no, we didn't really come up with a strategy. We just said, Olaf, can you just go kill everyone? He's like, yeah,
all this time we thought Pronax was a genius.
Yeah, it's just like
Olaf.
Just Olaf doing his thing.
Well, the vote, I think, is about to hit 10. I think we're about to get underway, Henry.
Hopefully. I'm getting excited. I've got some butterflies in my stomach as well. Imagine what the guys are bigger feeling. First major, the lineup, same for Immortals as well. Both the challenger teams here in the quarterfinals. We're going to have a challenger in the semis. That's guaranteed. That's quite an exciting prospect, I think.
Very exciting. I mean, again, looking at their side of the bracket, North and Virtus Pro are who they would match up against. Virtus Pro can be, I think, possibly hit another level in an arena like this in front of their home crowd. This could be when the plow does start rolling, so it's a very scary thought. I know that North, they're going to want blood against Config.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's going to be great. Fantastic game coming up there. But I can confirm, Matthew, the game is about to begin. 30 seconds until we're underway. As I said, Immortals starting the CT side. Crowd, you still with us? That's good. That's good to know. This is going to be one hell of a game, I promise you that. Thank you for waiting. As we get into it, Immortals CT side, big on the terrorist. We'll have a look at the buys and we'll build the hype once the round goes live. It's an amazing looking arena. This is going to be really cool. I love the boosts. Love to see the fact we can see the players in their map. And we're out here in the thick of it as well.
So keep in mind, Immortals picked Cobblestone. They're going to start CT side, big are going to be T. That's how we'll get underway. And we are.
Right then, ladies and gentlemen. Immortals versus Big. Make some noise for the first map, Cobblestone. We'll get into it. The buys come through. Big with 3 sets of armor, and of course there's going to be a tactical element to this. 2 smokes, 2 HE grenades, and the flashbangs as well. And they're going to be in the hands of Legia and God B. 1 kit available for Immortals, and they've got the smoke as well on the back of Steel. I assume it'll be played towards the B side eventually. They go towards the middle of the start, trying to get a long air control, and the nades have been used. Look at KNG's, he takes him to the face. Lucky to be alive, he goes down to 22 HP.
Smart spot, this nade on pistols. We know CTs like to get aggressive for information at A long. And after putting the nades there, even though they don't confirm that the damage has been done, they know that likely they have pushed anyone that was there back, so they'll take it over. And already we're looking at execution potential from Big. Bolts aggressive at B. Tapson's one is exchange, one is duel. That gives him the option to lurk. He's got room to work with on the B side of the map. And if he pushes out drop, he can cut off rotations. They do still have 2 in the A side, 1 outside of the window and connector. Steel's the one that we'll watch for Tapson, but they go. Smoke's not down yet. 2 of them still to come out and play. Lucas caught in the open. Needs KNG to get more aggressive, and he will. Good shot. Lucas still alive, is able to take down 2. And the entrance won't do just yet. Smoke was deployed in front of the stage. Tapson has to win yet another. Finds Henny. So still a chance in the round because he can deploy damage from everywhere, walking back in until Steel gets the kill instead. Gobby immediately into a 1 versus 3. We'll have a timeout the next round, but this one's not done just yet. Gobby does pick up the bomb. 41 seconds, but they've triangulated his position. And no peek for KNG to give an easy kill. Decent enough try. Does bait one out with the jump. Goes back to the burst fire. He's looking for a little bit of luck. Flash is going to go high left. He'll peek immediately as it detonates. Gives them an opening, but double peek by Immortals gives them the pistol.
Immortals do indeed pick up the pistol there. Nice approach from Big. You can see they have a bit of information as the CT set up there. Double HEs at long A, which actually connected. Took KNG down to 22. He fell back. That's what they're trying to do. Establish that map control at the very beginning of the round. Getting back towards the bomb side there. He can't really hold that position on such low HP as well. They went for the ace play. It was Tapson. He did such a good job towards drop down. Got the first kill in their favor as well. He wants to do the split. And the smokes, it looked a little bit clumsy, the execution there. They did deploy them towards the bomb site, but there were gaps. It seemed that they were committing before the smokes had bloomed. The flashbangs weren't really effective, and Immortals is mowing them down with the USPs there. Got B left in the 3 versus 1. Did a reasonably good job to get that first kill. I thought he seriously had a chance there as well with the flashbang remaining, but couldn't find the follow-up frags. No bomb planted, and it's that wireless mouse. The little critter, not working out for us just yet.
Millisecond delay, perhaps. Tapson does not look pleased, and they are going to swap the PC. So full swap to bring in a new tower. Sort of hardware delay, perhaps, in the motherboard.
So that was Tapson who's got the delay, right? So he was a player who got 2 frags, so it didn't seem like it limited him somewhat. He seemed okay.
Admins are asking them to please put the headsets back on, no talking.
That's true, we should be careful with what we mention. I guess we can't give too much away. But still, Immortals 1-0 here. We have got another technical. It's good to get them out of the way early, I say, Matt. Fix all the problems now, then we'll have an epic ST3 coming up. 1 round in, Immortals shouldn't be able to talk at this point if you're not familiar with the Valve rule set. Technical problems, everyone has to be quiet. This some lounge in there as well.
Yeah. Shout out to JDM.
But should I describe the buy match? I'll leave it. Should I leave it for now?
We'll leave it for a minute, just to be absolutely sure. Yeah. I do love the booths, by the way. They look fantastic. For a 360 stage, full vision everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah, I like that.
Looks really good.
Yeah, the glass panels are a really nice addition. I mean, we've had this set up in other games before, and I don't think we've done it in CSGO. Maybe Vegas was a similar one.
Similar, but no booths.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, this is super cool.
And no crowd.
All right, calm down. But oh, he's just having a nap. Towel on the face. Check out. Compose himself, perhaps. Bit of meditation. Do you meditate, Matt?
Every now and then.
Every now and then. Okay. He's having a bit of a go. So the admin's trying to work out. I don't think there's any technical issues for the lads in Immortals, so they'll be okay. There he is, of course, the Godfather, as he's been known recently.
So much goes on behind those eyes. It's a mind that does not stop when it comes to Counter-Strike.
It's true. So Legia's off the server as well. So maybe they've both got the same issue. Maybe that's the problem right now. And they're out of the booth, so we've got to be very careful about what we say at this point. I know you're a professional, just in case, you know.
Definitely not a professional. I fake it.
Take it till you make it. Well, you're doing all right so far.
Thanks, Henry.
Well,
So tower swap will mean that they'll likely just pull the SSD from one computer to the other, put it in, and then hopefully the hardware issue is gone. They've got all hands on. It's definitely the same mouse that they're using. I'm not sure exactly which model it is. I'm sure someone already has spotted that on Twitch. We're back.
Hello there.
But rather than us talk...
Let's do it.
Yes, hello. I appreciate that. Rather than us talk, we will take a second to speak with the man I did say has the mind that never does stop talking, or thinking for that matter, Scott B.
All right, Sir Scoots here. I am lucky enough to be joined by crossed over the threshold. You are a legend.
Yes, we are, and we are really happy and nice that I can be here and talking to you.
Yeah, it is very nice, you know. You had a fairly quick and easy group stage. You 3-0'd, and we're going to talk about some of those matches. We're also going to talk about your future matches, but talk up a little bit of history with you, because you're not a new guy to Counter-Strike Global Offensive. You're a 1.6 player. You go way back. I want to say 2006, 2007, maybe even 2005. Spent years with Mouse Sports in 1.6, and then you transitioned and you also spent several years with Mouse Sports in Global Offensive, little time with Alternate Attacks in there, I believe. And then they released you. What did that feel like, and how did that motivate you?
First of all, I felt betrayed just because we made contracts like 2 weeks ago, and we're like, everyone wanted to play with each other, and that's why, yeah, after 2 weeks, they kind of kicked me, and then that's why I was, first of all,